Hey guys, how you going? Sorry we're a bit late today. We'll get to that in a minute, but this is Gary Penhall from Adelaide, and you know, we've been really lucky to have Gary come on the show and open up about his story and share with us his experiences, with ice and that sort of thing. But yeah, we're a bit late to start today. One of those sorts of days where anything that could go wrong would go wrong. But yeah, anyway, we made it and we're here today, and we have Gary with us. And yeah, like Gary, you've been through you had your own experience with ice and that sort of thing. Do you mind if I ask, like when did you first sort of come into contact with ice?
The first time I came in contact with ice was I was at work, and I made a new friend, and that's how I was introduced to it. And we built a friendship over a period of time, probably about a month.
Yeah.
And he was pretty open about his using, and one day he offered to try some ice, and my initial.
Oh, sorry. Like he offered you a pipe?
He offered me a pipe of ice, and I was pretty.
Did you know really what it was at the time?
I did, because people that I knew, like friends and stuff like that, used ice, and I seen firsthand what ice addiction has done for them.
Yeah.
And they resorted to crime and other stuff like that in their addiction. And my family said not to use ice.
Sorry to pause you, but can we from the moment that you were offered ice and that sort of thing, like what environment sort of thing, like, because you guys work together, but what sort of environment did how did the offer sort of
happen?
Yeah.
Well, I was curious about it as well, about using ice.
Because you heard about it?
Because like I was just wanting to experiment, but I was scared to use ice because I thought that it might kill me if I was to use ice or any other harder drugs. And I thought to myself, I'll try it once and see what happens. And it was offered to me in a secret location, like away from other employees and stuff like that. And that's the first time I tried it. And I tried it, and nothing happened to me apart from the effects of ice. And as soon as I broke down that wall of trying it and using it, I thought it was nothing. Well, I didn't think anything bad of it. Yeah.
And how, just real quick, before we go on, that's the amazing thing, it's just everywhere, it's at work, and, it can be in your environments, and that's, one of the things about ice is that, it's that addictive and it's that everywhere that, it can come up anywhere, and like Gary's just mentioned, it's, come up at work, so, that can happen to anybody, pretty much. But after you had used, that one time, what sort of happened after that? Was it something that you continued to seek out after that, or how?
Well, what happened was later on I found out that he was using every day, and he would use every day frequently, and he would just pass it to me, and I would have a couple of puffs here and there during work, and I thought nothing of it.
You felt.
Yeah, I felt safe. Like, it felt okay, and I did I did that for a while.
Yeah.
And I didn't actually until I first bought it, and that was probably a month later.
Yeah.
And that's the first time I bought.
And that was the start. Yeah.
Yeah, it was the start of it. Yeah.
Yeah. And what sort of, like, because obviously, like at the start when you first start using, you know, because it's a drug that manipulates your mind and, you know, releases dopamine and all these things. You know, the first time you do it, the second time, your first experience with ice, you know, appears as good. You know, and you know, that's when I think you begin to sort of loving it.
Trust it, yeah.
Trust it, yeah.
Yeah. Like,
you know,
feel comfortable with it. Yeah.
Especially, you know, someone you work with, someone you probably, you know, looked up to at the time as well was.
I did, yeah. Because he became a friend, and he also helped teach me how to do my job as well. And he was a successful tradesman in my trade, and I did look up to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we built a friendship through ice, and working, which is this is unusual, but
Yeah. Oh, this is what it is.
yeah. But yeah.
Yeah. And like that's we'll continue on with your story in a second, but that's the, you know, thing about ice is that, you know, once you're addicted to ice operates itself through people's addiction for it, you know, like, and we'll get into that as we go along.
Yeah.
But yeah, so when, you know, like, I suppose you continued to do it for some time and it was okay at the time and that sort of thing. How long into using ice before things started to
slip?
Yeah, to get, yeah.
To slip to fall. Well, it probably happened in 6 months.
6 months?
6 months of using, yeah. Like, I was able to use on the weekends.
Are we loud enough, guys? Sorry?
No, all the comments are saying it's too windy, and they want the camera closer.
Yeah, I'm really sorry, guys. Like this video, you know, a lot of things went wrong, and you know, it's entirely my fault. So I really do apologise, guys. You know, that we're not as prepared as we should be. We will be in the future, but keep continuing. Move closer.
Yeah.
Is the camera up?
Yeah.
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 Is that better?
Yeah. It is.
Yeah.
But yeah, so 6 months.
Yeah, 6 months.
Yeah.
Like that's when I noticed that I was becoming addicted to ice, and like my friend, his addiction was already at a stage where he was at a later stage than I was. I was starting mine, and he was in the midst of his own like addiction at its height, like where he became like 20. He became dependent on ice, on using ice.
If you don't mind me asking, did you see him slip as well?
I did.
Yeah.
I seen him slip very fast. Within a year, he lost his job because of ice addiction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that happens to, you know, most everyone. You know, I can safely say everyone that uses ice has these same sort of repercussions in their life. I'm sort of interested. So, when you first started using ice, how often did you start? I imagine you might have started straight away, because if he was working, if he was doing it every day at work, did that sort of rub off on you like that?
It did. Yeah, it did rub off on me. The way he used, and the way he used as well. So like, it was like hard and fast. Like, you know, do a lot of ice in a short amount of period of time. And I didn't. I regulated myself because I knew that I had to perform my job.
Yeah.
That was always in the back of my mind, because I knew what ice addiction has other people, like family, friends and stuff like that. So I knew that I didn't want to be addicted
So
to it.
you kind of had an idea that this drug was bad, but
Yeah.
you know, still lured you.
Still lured me in, yeah. It's the high that lured me in. You know, obviously it's everyone else would agree, you know, like it's what draws everyone to it is the high.
I'd like to
That's all I really focused on was the high.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then,
As you do.
yeah, as you do.
Yeah.
And next thing you know,
Yeah.
you know, you could be anywhere, mental hospitals, prisons, you know, death and the rest of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that's what I'd like to get into now. So you've seen your start, but when things started to slip, like how, you know, like the destruction that it caused, I'd really like to, you know, get into that if we could.
Yeah, sure. Well, within 6 months to a year, my performance working slipped dramatically, and like my supervisors and my boss were concerned about it.
Yeah.
And it brought to my attention that there is a problem, but I ignored it and I just kept working through it.
Yeah.
And used more to function. Yeah.
Can I ask, like, how, you know, in your youth you would have been, you know, probably staying up a lot and things like these. Can I ask, like, with emotionally and like with your mindset, like what, you know, what sort of happens, like in terms of those sorts of?
My mindset, well,
I only ask because I know when I started using, I was staying awake for long periods of time and that sort of thing, and I was, over time of using and that sort of stuff, I started to really experience and think really weird things. You know, staying awake, I found I was always irritable, and because I was irritable, I wouldn't treat my family right, I wouldn't treat, you know, people at work right, and you know, it sort of led me to make a lot of bad decisions because I hadn't slept. So I just, you know, that I just wanted to know what sort of like yours.
My experience and my mindset. Well, for me, I managed to sleep somewhat, and it had a positive effect on me for a long time because I regulated my using to the weekends and then sometimes during the week.
Yeah.
So I could have a break. I don't know why. But like I seen my friend, my work colleague, spiral out of control and lose his house, his kids, his family, within the first year of me working at the company.
Yeah.
At the new company.
1 year.
In 1 year, yeah.
And what, yeah.
So like, I managed to, my mind state was good. I felt like lots of confidence. I felt like I could do anything I wanted to. I felt like I was more like in tune, like more intelligent.
And this is what kept you using.
That's what kept me using was the confidence and the ego, because it really inflates your ego like 10 times fold, you know. Like and that carried on for a lot of years, like for at least 5 years, like that, in that using cycle. And but then as I continued to use, the positive effects that I had using ice disappeared, and it became more of a problem than helping me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I found I had the same sort of thing, you know, I felt really confident and all these other sorts of things, but then just as you said, you know, that starts to fade away and disappear, but you know, you still cling on to feeling good.
You do.
You know, and that's what you're really trying to chase, but you just can't seem to to get it again, you know, after a certain point. But
Yeah.
what? So what happened? You know, like what happened when it did start to disappear and you did start realising that it was an issue?
I tried to take a break and try to not use, but in the same time, in the same token, I thought it was still still helping me do my job, like to a high extent, which is, in hindsight, it's not true at all. I was virtually blinded by it, you know, by the ego, you know, and all the made up like beliefs that I had about ice. Really, I was really blind, you know, like from the outside looking in. I wasn't functioning properly at all. Yeah, I had like weird ways I would go about my day, like and people started to notice it within the first year. Like I had dramatic weight loss. That's one of the effects, and also my attitude and the way I communicated with people as well. Yeah.
Was that like egotistical? Because I found, in my experience, you know, I got really egotistical and I treated people, you know, not really well myself.
I treated people with respect and treated them well, but like I just had, it was all like on the inside, just the ego-driven, like work-orientated sort of stuff, like sort of the way I operated, the way I went about my business. Yeah. But like the further I got into my ice addiction and the more I used, the more, you know, negative side effects would happen. And with my supervisor, you know, like the way he would, like the way I would treat him and the way he would treat me, because he knew that he knew about my friend who used. He knew that he was using ice, and he knew that because I hanged around him that I was using ice as well.
Yeah.
So that gave him a negative stigma towards me.
Yeah.
About using ice, because it's not something.
I understand exactly what you're saying.
Not something you'd use. Yeah.
I think that's the thing as well. Is like when someone does use ice, and you know, it can be really difficult to get through to them and that sort of thing. And when I was using ice, you know, some people, you know, knew about it, and I found how they treated me sort of maybe pushed me towards using ice a bit more.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like, you know, ice makes a mess of things, and what we're trying to clear it up. That's what, you know, this is what the Australian Anti-Ice Campaign is about, and speaking about this sort of topic is about, you know. And I just really want to take the time to apologise again that I'm really sorry that I wasn't able to organise this video appropriately with the, you know, right space and that sort of thing. And also, you know, there are a lot of sponsors out there that help the anti-ice campaign with the clothing brand Neo and things like that. I'll apologise to you guys for not being prepared, but you know, like, we're so appreciative of the work, of the donations and what you do to help us, you know, fight this drug. But yeah, going back into it. Sorry for swapping and changing on me, bro.
That's okay.
So what, when the good effects started to wear off, and you know, it started to go downhill, what was a catalyst for you to sort of, you know, like, what happened? How did you get clean? What made you want to get clean?
Okay, well, I continued to use for the next 2 more years, and my using got bigger. I had to use more to achieve the same high, to achieve the same effects, and it really did become it did slow me down. Like
It would have been expensive.
it was expensive, yeah, and eventually I couldn't do my job. My supervisors and my boss told me that I was going to lose my job because of my poor performance at work, and that's when I really took notice of it, that there is a problem, and maybe ice is the problem. But
Is that what you thought at the time? Like
That's
maybe this
yeah.
is the problem?
maybe this is the problem, and I ignored it because I was so involved with ice and the positive effects, even though that it was causing negative effects on my life. All I wanted to do was to get high.
Just wanted to feel confident and feel okay.
Yeah, feel okay and feel like out of my own skin and be someone else, like be this superhuman person who could do anything. And I was blinded by that, and eventually I used so much in the end that I went into psychosis. And I remember being in psychosis and thinking that this is not going to end, this is not going to stop, and I wanted it to stop, and I tried to, and I used other drugs to try to stop using ice, and it always led me back to using ice, within a very short period of time, because that was my drug of choice, was ice.
Yeah.
And eventually, like, my family knew about my ice usage, and I was told that there was a NA meeting, and that I should go to it because I need help.
Did you know what that was
At the time, no, I didn't know what it was, and
what is that? If you don't mind.
yeah,
Like, for people that
don't know what NA is. NA is Narcotics Anonymous, and it's a worldwide organisation that runs meetings every day of the week, all over South Australia, all over the world,
and
yeah.
that's a really good tool. We talk about having a tripod of support, and NA is a really good fellowship of recovered addicts that you can sort of go to, and that can, in the tripod of support, that can take one space, that can give you one space of support when you're recovering and
Trying to stay clean.
yeah, and trying to stay clean, and
From ice, yeah.
it's one step at a time,
It
isn't
is.
it? It's not it's really hard to get clean just like that sometimes,
It is.
and just taking small steps, have a tripod of support, prepare to be clean, and all these sorts of things. But
Yeah.
So you heard about NA?
Yeah, I did. And I decided to go. And my first initial thought of NA was it wasn't for me. And I went away and used again. And I probably used for another 2 years.
Yeah.
And then I went because I knew about NA, and I knew some people there, because I went to a couple of meetings and I got a few phone numbers, and I met a few people as well, like out of NA, and spoke about my addiction and what it done to me. And it was always a thought in my mind that I had somewhere else to go, like when I didn't have no one else to support me, because my family just didn't know how to control me, like, or or help me
I
at all,
suppose, yeah.
because they felt helpless, and you know, I was off using, and you know, days on end and never home. And
Can I ask, like, with your family, and like they obviously tried to help you, I suppose, to some sort
degree,
of extent. Yeah,
they did. Yeah, they tried to like manage my finances so I wouldn't be able to use, and I'd always get my finances back in my own hands, and and then I'll do the same thing again.
Did it? When you say getting your finances back, did that? How did you manage that? You know, did you have to sort of lie, or?
I did have to lie to get my finances back, and I did manage to stay clean for a period of time. I think it was 3 months, and I built enough trust back to be able to get my finances back. And
the lying was because you wanted the not ice, so.
Yeah, that was the clear motive, and then because it's always in the back of my mind, you know, that I was going to use. It's just a matter of when I was going to use. So, yeah.
I think that's the like really. Can everyone hear us, or is the wind really bad?
I think it's going.
Okay. Well, yeah, like I know Gary myself. Me and Gary have known each other for a long time, and he is an absolutely amazing bloke. And you know, the idea of him lying and things like that—that's not who he is now. But you know, when ice is so powerful, and you've got this craving, this hunger inside of you,
Yeah.
that is, you know, as far as I'm concerned, it's more powerful than love in a illusion sort of way.
It is.
You know,
Yeah.
it causes you to lie. It causes, you know,
Still.
to steal and do, you know, out of sorts things, and yeah.
Definitely, like to me it was the most amazing high that I've ever experienced in my entire life. And I have hobbies, like I race dirt circuit cars in my free time when I'm not working, and it was more enjoyable, more pleasurable than that, tenfold. That's how much control and power ice has on people. The effect that it has is out of this world, and I would do anything to use ice, because I knew that the high was worth it. That's what I thought. That it was worth any cost to get it, to use it. And I didn't think of my family or my friends at the time. All I was thinking of was myself. And it's a selfish drug when you're really in the midst of the addiction. You know, really, there's like a point where it's hard to return from it, and yeah, it's a power that, you know, it's.
I find it, you know, because it does manipulate the brain, and it does do things to the brain, releases all sorts of chemicals. The chemicals you put it, you know, the things that it does, it has a real mental effect on you, like and it can be really subtle as well, but over time, slowly but surely, you know, it twists your morals, it twists your values, and you know what, it hijacks your brain, and what you feel is important suddenly goes out the window, and ice is prioritised right above everything
else.
Yep.
That's exactly my thoughts. Yeah. Exactly what I experienced. Yeah.
Just taking a step back as well, like NA, you know, is for, it's about the disease of addiction. So for you guys that are family members of someone that is using, and you know, you don't know what's happening to them, and you don't understand things, and I highly recommend NA is something that you look into, because you can go there and you can speak to recovered drug addicts, and you're going to be able to find some insight there that, you know, you can't find anywhere else, you know, other than, you know, the Australian Anti-Ice Campaign or other recovery groups and things like that. How, you know, we understand, it feels really good at the start.
Yeah.
But I really want to talk about like the chaos that does come. How would you describe the downfall of that drug?
The downfall, like as in
The slip and
all that, it's unorganised chaos. I just couldn't function without using, and it just became overwhelming. Like it became overwhelming when I was, slipping in my ice addiction and spiraling out of control and spiraling down, and I just wanted to escape. As much as I was spiraling out of control. Yeah, I just wanted to escape that, and that's how I found NA. I was introduced to NA, and that's when I knew that there's a way out.
Yeah.
For me, yeah.
And I think that's so it was through NA, it was through support that Gary was able to get clean. That's how I also got clean as well. And that's the biggest thing is the tripod of support for people that are using is developing that tripod of support. You can have NA in one spot, you can have a drug and alcohol counsellor in another spot, you can have the campaign in another spot. We do buddy systems and things like that. We can get in contact with us and we can walk you through recovery and putting all these tools into action.
Yeah.
And I suppose another thing is you want to.
Yeah.
Just trying to figure out how to say this sort of question, but where do you think you'd be if you were still using?
Well, I think I wouldn't have a job, that's for sure. Yeah, I was in the end of my using, I was very close from being fired, and that's really like my livelihood. Is my job, like my support as well. And also like my family members as well. Like I was, given the choice, to either get clean or to move out because I was living at home.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, in the midst of my addiction to ice, because I had no money to be self-supporting during my addiction. Yeah. So.
It must have been, because I know in my use, I'd just come out of hospital for, drug-induced psychosis and that sort of thing, and I had all this bad stuff happen and lost my family, and, I was in a mental hospital and stuff like that, and one part of me wanted to quit ice, but a large part of me wanted to keep using, and, breaking free out of that, because that's the struggle that that we have with this drug is, that part of you that wants to stop using the drug is what you got to nourish and really put some effort into, taking the time out and establishing some support around you and that sort of thing. But the illusion of wanting to use the drug, I remember I loved ice. I didn't want to stop using ice at all. But I got to the point where I realised that, maybe you did as well, is that I'm not moving forward. I like to use ice, but it's destroying my life, or it's stopping me from, accomplishing things that I want to do.
Yeah.
But I'll never forget how hard that battle was to break free from that thinking, and I imagine was it kind of similar for you?
It was a battle to stay clean. Every moment of the day I was thinking about using ice. There's a larger part of me, like you said, 70% of my thoughts was to use, and the 20 or 30% was to get clean, and it was a struggle every day. It was mentally and mentally draining. Every day to resist. to not give in to the urges to use. As much as I wanted to, I realised I can't use because it was ruining my life as well. Like I had a job and I had money coming in and all that sort of stuff, but every other aspect of my life was nothing. I didn't have my hobbies. My all my hobbies and all the fun times that I would have was gone. I felt like my life wasn't going anywhere. Like I would sit around and use and think, what am I doing with my life? I'm wasting it. That's my thoughts. And that's what really encouraged me to stop using as well, was to get my life back. To enjoy it, because in the end I wasn't enjoying my life as much as I could.
I know my life was so painful, like emotionally, and like the shame and the guilt that I had, in my using. That's why I wanted to use, just to mask up, the things that I was doing. I don't know, it's a cycle, but like this is what it is. Like, it affects your mind so much in a way that you are fighting for your mind. It's not you're fighting for your health, but like your train of thought, your mind is what you're fighting for. When you're thinking about, I want to get clean, I want to stop using ice, that is what you're actually embarking on. It's a war for your mind.
It is.
And for Gary and myself, like what, 5 years or longer, 7 years or longer of using ice, creates a pattern in your head, a habit in your head. And then not only that, ice has such a massive release of endorphins and happiness behind it. You've got this habit that has such a heavy reward system, deeply embedding it into your minds. Like, this is, you got to fight for your mind, because this drug is hijacking you, and you deserve a lot more. You're a lot more beautiful, and you deserve a lot more than what you may believe that you do at this point. I highly recommend to reach out, and as you can tell, like, you're not alone, guys. You're not alone, guys. Ice is a massive thing, and it's only multiplying. It is everywhere you look, but you're not alone. So many people have experienced it, and that's what it's about now. It's about sharing our experiences and talking about exposing this drug for what it is, and also passing on the message to the next generation is not even once. It's not worth it. Is there anything else that sort of?
Well, we could talk about
one thing I wouldn't mind asking you, bro. I'm sorry to ask you,
yeah.
but like, how did you use?
Well, I used a glass pipe in the start, and I had other friends that used ice as well, and that other friend is like one of my best friends from high school. He's virtually like a brother to me, and I used to always use with him, and he eventually came into contact with using needles, and I did too. I use needles as well, out of curiosity.
You're a bloody legend, Gary. Like, I just want to say, like, for Gary to come on this show and speak with us and share his story, how brave that is, man. And
Yeah.
like, because I understand it's not an easy thing to talk about, and you've come and shared this with us.
Yeah.
What it's caused you to
use needles.
Yeah.
Well, it was my mindset at the time was I tried every other way to use ice, and I was told about the experience of using needles, and the experience of the high is more better, is different, and times it's like 10 times better than using a pipe. And I was enticed by the high, and obviously I wanted to get higher.
Yeah.
So that was the next step, which was virtually, that next step is like crossing the line, and it is crossing the line, but like because my morals were affected by it, I didn't care about it. Didn't care about what other people thought about it, and I just did it, it's pretty foolish, but at the time I thought it was okay.
It is what it is, bro.
Yeah, it is what it is. Yeah.
I imagine like when you you're probably really hesitant at using a needle at first.
Yeah.
But then
It's a scary thing.
it persuaded you over time.
Yeah, it did. Like it was like I slowly introduced it to myself to make myself comfortable around it, and then it became acceptable. It became normal. Yeah.
You start like justifying to yourself that this is okay.
Yeah.
Because I suppose how I used to look at it was like, I don't know, like I deserve to do what I'll work and like do things for the kids. I deserve to do this, but and then you persuade yourself that it's next thing you know you're using a needle, like and it's not. That's just what happens.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
Like
It's
I like never would have guessed you to have used needles.
Yeah. Well, there's a few people that I knew in the same circle that I was hanging around with that were using needles, and those sort of people were normal working class citizens, like that have jobs and have kids and have a life, circled around using ice, which is, there is a majority of people in our population that do use ice and have a social life and work. It's a very small percentage, but there is people out there that can do it.
Yeah.
And it's a bit of an eye opener. Like your typical stereotype, addict, that's on movies and on television. It is real, but there is also functioning addicts as well that manage to live in society under the radar, using. So
I think that's like the movies make it stereotypical and stuff like that, but ice is that common, and it's every day it's available. It's definitely available, and it's when it persuades you, once it's got you, and then you start spreading the drug, yourself, like
make you do some really stupid stuff, it'll make you do like the most, like immoral things, and you'll justify it in your own mind that it's okay, and then it becomes a reinforcement every time that you do it. It further reinforces it, and then you continue down that path of destruction, that it causes.
It's it can be like really difficult, guys, because a lot of people view this, and some people are going to be addicts. Some of you guys are family members of people using, and things like that, and the biggest thing when it comes to ice addiction is connection. Like being connected to like the campaign, and being connected to recovery, and just being creating a culture around recovery. Is what we can do. And the biggest thing of it all is like when it comes to ice, it's just one big bloody roller coaster.
It is.
You're going up, and then you come to the scary part when you're going down.
Yeah.
And
It's like fight for life, really. You know, like it's a fight for freedom. You know, like coming out of ice addiction, like it's like being locked in a prison in your own mind when you're in the midst of the height of the addiction, and even coming down, you feel imprisoned. And you know, like I'm 16 months clean very soon, and you know, I've got my freedom back. You know, like I've got my hobbies back. You know, I've you know established like connections with my family again, and also with my work as well. And I've managed to keep my job out of all this. You know, out of using ice and then coming into recovery. And
Is life better since you've stopped using?
it's better. Yeah, I really enjoy life. You know, today. You know, like I really love being present in the moment. You know, like being around friends and family, and there's nothing in this world, you know, that'll take me back there, because you know I'm done with ice. You know, I'm more interested in getting on with my life. You know, it's way more important. You know.
I think that's probably about it for us tonight, guys. I do really want to apologise. I've been very unorganised today, and like for our sponsors and for those of you guys that do help us out, I was just really unorganised today, and I really wanted to mention you guys name for name, and the businesses that have taken the time out to help us and, you know, have committed to us in helping stop this drug. I truly do apologise, you know, and it won't happen again, you know. And to everyone, I hope you enjoyed it. You know, we've had Gary here, who's been, you know, thank you so much for coming on, bro.
That's right.
And, you know, helping us break down, you know, the stigma of drug addiction. Remember, guys, being connected is what's going to help. Whether you're a family member, whether you are using ice or whatever, connecting yourself to us, to NA, making a tripod of support, you can do this. And what's important to know is, like, for you guys that are using, it's a fight for your minds. You know, your mind is going to tell you that you do love the drug, but it's a lie. You know, and you're just wasting your money. You know, and you're hurting yourself. But yeah, thank you so much, Gary, for coming on, bro, and sharing the story. And
Thanks for having me. Yeah.
no worries, it's been a pleasure, bro. And you know, any questions that you guys have, please comment on the video, and Gary and myself can get back to you guys in the comments. Really sorry for the winds, really sorry for, you know, it's not the usual environment, but thank you for sticking with us. And yeah, that's it for us, guys. Much love.